Could Vice President Kamala Harris become the next California governor? That's what insiders are saying. Coming up, we'll give you all of the details about what's going on behind the scenes, her path potentially to the governor's mansion, and what we're doing to expose her horrible record. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and you heard that right. Vice President Kamala Harris. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but who cares? She's inept. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to get their names right until they actually show they can do something. Anyway, Kamala Harris is thinking about becoming California's next governor. By the way, she's the only one thinking that she's up to the task. Nobody thinks that she's done a good job as vice president, not even Joe Biden, and he's a vegetable. She's been a complete dumpster fire of incompetence. And I've said it all along that politicians on the left, Democrat politicians on the left in California, when they get to the national stage, become complete embarrassments because they're not vetted at the lower rungs as they are climbing into their power positions nationally. It's not like we have a media here in California that holds them accountable, asks the tough questions, digs deep, sees if they've failed or if they've got character flaws. No. They get nothing but puffery, favorable coverage from California's liberal, sycophantic liberal media. So when she became vice president, even some of my Democrat friends back east said, "What the hell, Carl? Did no one recognize that she's worse than the village idiot?" And I said, I always say, it's your problem, not ours. You promoted her. You promoted her based upon her gender, based on her skin color, her connections. Your problem, not mine, not ours. So where did this speculation come that after 3 years of her being a completely incompetent vice president, and you really have to be incompetent to be a bad vice president. I mean, you have one job: wake up in the morning and check the president's pulse. That's the only thing you have to do. But Harris has shown herself to be a complete idiot and incompetent at so many things. There was speculation fueled by this Politico article that came out this week. Kamala for governor. She jokes, but the state lacks a giant. The race to succeed Gavin Newsom offers a snapshot of campaigning in the Golden State. So let's scroll down to the money shot here in the article. Here we are. Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, has joked to friends that she may return to California to run for governor if Democrats lose the White House this fall. Taking a page from Richard Nixon, two people familiar with her remarks said. Now, when something like this appears, particularly when it's put in a headline, that this is not just random gossip. This is floating an idea. This is by design. Absolutely, Kamala Harris is looking at running for governor. Why? She has nowhere else to go. Now, the reason why she can't own it is that if it looks like she's already written off the notion that the Biden-Harris ticket will win in the fall, that is not doable. You can't, basically signal that, oh yeah, I think we're going to lose. Look, Kamala Harris is dumb as dirt, but even she has enough mental facility to understand that the Biden-Harris administration is a dumpster fire and that they are losing this election right now. And that there's a pretty good chance that Joe Biden's going to be swapped out, not with her, but for someone else, probably Gavin Newsom. And Newsom's not going to keep her on as vice president. So she's sitting there thinking, we're probably going to lose. So what's my next step? Because she's always been a climber. In a moment, I'll tell you how she got to the heights that she has not earned. Anyway, so the story has all the hallmarks of what we call the trial balloon, the floating of the idea. She absolutely wants to do this, okay? Two people familiar with her remarks said. She's joking to friends that she could return to California. Joking. No. Sort of like Newsom not running for president. Kamala is not interested in becoming governor. Anyway, so then you immediately have the denial. That did not happen. Harris spokesperson Kirsten Allen told Politico in response, this November, the vice president will be preparing to be inaugurated for the second term of the Biden-Harris administration. We're not losers yet, even though we're all packing our bags. You all need to hire good lawyers too, because, my hope is that you get the same sort of treatment that you inflicted upon your opponents while you were in power. But anyway, I digress. So Kamala Harris wanting to run for governor. Just to recap, because we did a podcast on this topic a few weeks ago, who is currently running for governor on the Democrat side? There's State Senator Toni Atkins, the former head of the California State Senate. She's from San Diego. I know her well. She's running as the gay candidate. Eleni Kounalakis, the lieutenant governor of California, she's not running as anything but I'm rich. Yeah, her family has billions of dollars. Not qualified for the position. I mean, all of these folks are all super liberal. Tony Thurmond, California State Superintendent of Public Administration. He's running as the black candidate and the teachers union pet. Betty Yee, she is former state comptroller. She stepped down last year, and she's running as the Asian candidate. You understand, that's basically what these candidates are doing. They're running under their identity politics label, not under what they've actually done or what they believe in, because they all believe the same thing: rotten left-wing fringe extremist policy ideas. Who's thinking about running? Rob Bonta. I guess he's pretending to be the Latino candidate. Attorney General. He's also, I think, half Asian. I don't know. Anyway, check the box. He probably will come out as gay, even though he's married. Rob Bonta, Attorney General of California. He's been chomping at the bit to run. Xavier Becerra, the failed Health and Human Services Secretary. Again, this guy was appointed during COVID, and yet he did absolutely nothing. As the Health and Human Services Secretary, have you heard of him? No one has heard of him. That's how unremarkable he's been. He's another one of those California politicians that makes it to the prime time and everyone realizes is completely inept and incompetent. And they wonder why. And I, again, remind them, we have a liberal media. They don't shine a light on the failures of these Democrat politicians in California. So you then promote them to the higher offices and find out that they are incompetent. Rick Caruso, who's basically a former Republican real estate developer, ran for mayor of LA. He's thinking about running. And Antonio Villaraigosa, the failed mayor of Los Angeles. He ran for governor in 2018 and lost then. So a gaggle of Democrats. You don't see a Republican on the list. I know of some of the Republicans thinking of running, and we are currently dialoguing with those candidates. I like some of them. I don't particularly like others. We'll get to those Republicans at another point, but let's get back to Kamala Harris. I mean, think about it. She has nowhere else to go. How did she get where she is today? Well, she started out as Willie Brown's assistant. I'll leave it to you to fill in the blanks. So she started out as Willie Brown's assistant, and Willie Brown took a liking to her, groomed her for political office, of course. And so anyway, so she got introduced by Willie Brown as a favor, as a number of favors in return for favors, and ended up becoming the district attorney in San Francisco, and then ended up becoming the attorney general. Narrowly won attorney general, I believe, in 2010, maybe it was 2014, one of those years. Anyway, so she barely becomes the state attorney general, doesn't do anything very good, just politicizes her office, which becomes the pattern out there. Then she runs for U.S. Senate and gets in a Democrat runoff for Barbara Boxer's seat in 2016 against Loretta Sanchez. And she wins that U.S. Senate seat. Then in 2016, she decides immediately to run for president in 2020. Sworn in as a U.S. Senator, spends 4 years just gearing up to run for president. She got in real close with the Obama crowd, and they thought, oh, she's marvelous, she's wonderful. So she runs for president in 2020, and you probably didn't want to see the dumpster fire of that campaign. Didn't pay too much attention, but oh, she was bad. Completely flamed out, crashed and burned very quickly. And everyone was astonished at how poorly she did. She attacked Biden for, racially segregated busing for schools. Anyway, fast forward to July of 2020. Biden desperately needed a running mate, had to pick a running mate based on skin color, identity politics. And of course, Kamala Harris checked those boxes. No qualifications whatsoever. But hey, when you have someone living in a basement who's demented and has mental faculties that are severely limited, she probably seemed like a Rhodes Scholar in comparison. Anyway, so as vice president, not a good job at all. She was appointed the border czar, and she's not been to the border. And of course, you see what an absolute crisis point we've seen at the border. She's done absolutely nothing, even though she crows about the fact that she's the border czar, and has offered nothing but word salad since. Her gaffes are numerous. So on the campaign trail in California, you'll have to get ready for her. All right, I've had enough. I can't take it. She's laughing basically about how bad she's done as vice president. The sad thing about this is that these failed politicians, they have no introspection. They don't know how bad that they are. So here is Kamala Harris with her word salad. So not only are you going to have to deal with the absurd laughter, awkward laughter, cringeworthy laughter, but you're going to have speeches if she runs for governor that offer nothing but word salad. This is one of the numerous moments of word salad. In the comments below, translate Kamala Harris speak.
I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past, but the future.
Oh my God, I've got a headache. I've got a bad headache. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. And she's got a fetish for Venn diagrams. See, this is her trying to pretend like she knows something and being smart. I love Venn diagrams. Oh, I just love Venn. Who the hell says that crap? I love Venn diagrams. That's like saying, I really love Excel spreadsheets. Excel spreadsheets.
I love Venn diagrams. I really do. I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people that you agree with me, right?
No, they don't agree with you. The fact that their mouth is on the floor and they're shaking their head does not mean that they agree with you, my dear. Anyway, so what would this campaign look like? She jumps in. She would be jumping in probably in January, but she would immediately start talking about it after their defeat in November. If she's removed from the ticket, she'll probably start talking about it, in the summer. But no doubt about it, she's going to run for governor of California. She's nowhere else to go. Who would hire her as a consultant or as a lobbyist? Nobody. No one respects her in the Democrat Party. And of course, Republicans, again, think she's an idiot, knows that she's an idiot. So she has no career path other than trying to seek another political office. And, she's sitting there saying, well, I won 2 statewide offices in California before, so why don't I go back to California? I'm not so sure she's going to be welcomed with open arms. even Democrats don't have a very high opinion of Kamala Harris. They've seen the goods and they don't like what they're seeing. And so I don't think that there are candidates in California that are going to say, oh, let me defer to that dumpster fire, that inept one. I actually think the strongest candidate on the Democrat side running right now is actually Toni Atkins. Because while she's running as the identity politics candidate, she's also been a real political mover and shaker. The others, no. Atkins, though, has actually run both the state assembly and the state senate and has had her fingers in policy issues. Again, I don't agree with her on any policy. She's a leftist. But of all the Democrat candidates running, she's the only one capable. And I think a lot of the interest groups understand that. She's not going to back down. And she's raising money at a pretty steady clip, according to sources I've spoken to. So you've got Toni Atkins, who's not going to step aside for Kamala Harris. And then, of course, think about this. What could be worse than Gavin Newsom? I mean, if Kamala Harris somehow manages to become governor, what could possibly be worse than her? I mean, she would make Newsom look like, again, a Rhodes Scholar, a competent governor, which is pretty damn scary. At Reform California, we know that getting a Republican elected governor is a long shot, but you can't win unless you take the shot. So as I mentioned earlier, as I teased earlier, Reform California is actively dialoguing with a whole bunch of candidates that we think might have statewide potential, not just for the governor's race, but for Secretary of State. That's the position that controls our elections. Attorney General, that's the position that's supposed to be going after criminals, not going after churches or political opponents. We also are looking at the treasurer's position, the comptroller's position. These are all positions, superintendent of public instruction for our schools. These are all positions that we believe can be won with the right candidates and the right messaging and the right teamwork. Is it going to be easy? Hells no. This is a blue state. It's going to be a slog. But we've not put forward our best team, our best candidates in previous election cycles. And frankly, I believe that's one of the reasons why we haven't won. You can't beat something with nothing. And frankly, in some of these previous elections, the candidates we've run have been worse than nothing. So I am on a mission to help recruit these candidates, put them together in a slate, the reform slate, and to try to ramp up statewide campaigns in a collaborative way, plus helping out our state assembly, state senate candidates, all the way down to school board candidates in local areas. But we can't do this without your help. Continue to support Reform California in our mission to take back our state. The way you can do that, first and foremost, is sign up on our website. This allows you to get our free voter guide. Whenever we have elections, we send out the plain English voter guide. All we need is your first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. The zip code's important because we need to know which local voter guide we're mailing you or sending you. Second, throw in a contribution. We cannot do this work without your support. So chip in any contribution of any amount. And finally, sign up to be a volunteer. Get off that couch. Get in the fight. It's going to take a movement. The other side has media. They've got money, but they don't have a movement. We can become the movement to save this state. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.